Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we look behind the curtain of big business and uncover what's really going on. Today we're diving into a report from MidCap Financial Investment Corporation, and let's just say things are looking pretty standard, but we'll see if there's any jazz hidden beneath the surface. Before we dive in, if you like getting clear, no nonsense insights from these official corporate documents, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You should also definitely join our Discord community, the link is right there in the description below. It's a great place to chat about all things finance. Alright, so MidCap Financial Investment Corporation has dropped an 8K report. Now, an 8K is like a company's urgent bulletin board telling everyone about major events that happen between their regular financial reports. Think of it as a company saying, hey, something important just happened. The big date here is August 11th, 2025. This is when the main event this report is talking about actually took place. The company we're focusing on is MidCap Financial Investment Corporation. They're a player in the financial world, likely involved in lending or investing, and they're registered in Maryland. Now let's talk about what they're offering to the public. They've got common stock and the par value, which is mostly a legal term and not really what it's worth, is a tiny amount, just a thousandth of a dollar. The ticker symbol, the shorthand you'd use to look them up on the stock market, is MFIC, and you can trade their common stock on the Nasdaq Global Select Market, which is a pretty big and well-known stock exchange. They also have something called 8.00% notes due 2028. These are essentially loans the company has taken out from investors, and they promise to pay back the money plus 8% interest each year until 2028. The ticker symbol for these notes is MFICL. These notes are also traded on the Nasdaq Global Select Market. It's interesting because it shows they're raising money not just through selling shares, but also through issuing debt, which is pretty common for companies like this. The report also asks if they are an emerging growth company. This basically means a newer company that gets some regulatory perks. Based on the unchecked box, they are not classifying themselves as one, meaning they're likely past that early startup phase. Now, the meat of this particular 8K filing is under item 202, which is all about their financial performance and condition. What happened on August 11th was that MidCap Financial released a press release announcing their financial results for the quarter that ended on June 30th. 2025. So this report is basically pointing us to that press release for the juicy financial details. And they've included that press release as an exhibit, which we'll touch on in a moment. It's important to note how they present this information. This bit here is a bit of legal jargon, but it's pretty important. When they say the information is furnished and not filed, it means they're providing it, but they're not taking on the same level of legal responsibility for it as they would if it were part of their main filed reports like a 10K or 10Q. It's a way for companies to share news quickly without immediately opening themselves up to the same scrutiny as their core financial statements. Think of it as a disclaimer, here's the news, but we're not fully on the hook for every single word if it's in a press release. And that brings us to item 901, which lists the exhibits. Exhibit 99.1 is the press release itself. This is where we'd find the actual numbers and narrative about their performance for the quarter. This is the key document they're sharing to explain their financial picture. There's also Exhibit 104, the cover page interactive data file. This is part of the modern way companies file documents using something called inline XBRL, which makes the data more machine readable and easier for analysts and investors to process. It's like adding a digital tag to every piece of information, and then we have the signature that shows that the report has been officially approved and submitted by the company, in this case by Kristen M. Hester, their Chief Legal Officer and Secretary. This signature confirms that someone with the proper authority has signed off on this filing, and her name is Kristen M. Hester. Her title is Chief Legal Officer and Secretary. It's always good to see who is officially putting their name on these important company documents. The date of the signature is also August 11, 2025, matching the date of the report. And now, while this 8K itself doesn't contain the detailed financial tables we often dig into, it tells us that a press release with those details was issued on August 11th with results for the quarter ending June 30th. Unfortunately, we don't have that press release content directly in this document. However, based on the structure of this filing, the company is essentially signaling that it has announced its quarterly performance. If we did have the press release, we'd be looking for key numbers like their net income, revenue, earnings per share, and maybe some information on their loan portfolio or investment activities. for a company like MidCap Financial, which sounds like it deals with investments and potentially lending. We'd be keen to see how their assets are performing, if their investments are generating good returns, and if they're managing their debt effectively, especially those 8% notes. We'd also want to compare those numbers to the same quarter in the previous year to see if they're growing, shrinking, or staying steady. For instance, had they reported a 10% increase in net income, that could mean they're doing a better job of managing expenses or earning more from their investments. Conversely, a 5% drop in revenue might signal increased competition or a slowdown in their particular market segment. We'd also look at their debt to equity ratio to understand how much leverage they're using. A rising ratio could indicate higher risk, while a falling one might suggest financial health. Given this is an 8K primarily referencing a press release, it's more of an announcement vehicle. The real financial story would be in that attached press release. From what we can see here though, MidCap Financial is actively communicating its financial position as required. They're trading on a major exchange offering both stock and debt and are managing their reporting according to SEC guidelines. As for my take on MidCap Financial based on this filing alone, it's like looking at a movie poster without seeing the movie. We know the title and the actors, but not the plot or the quality. The fact that they're issuing an 8K to announce their quarterly results in a press release indicates they're following standard procedures. They've got common stock and outstanding notes, suggesting a typical corporate finance structure. Without the actual financial numbers from the press release, it's hard to assess their direction, strengths, or weaknesses. However, the fact that they are actively participating in public markets and using instruments like debt notes shows a level of operational activity. Potential risks would typically involve market interest rate fluctuations affecting their debt, credit quality of their investments or loans, and general economic downturns. Opportunities would lie in expanding their investment portfolio, securing favorable financing, or capitalizing on market growth. Ultimately, this filing serves as a notification that financial performance details are available. To get a true understanding of MidCap Financial Investment Corporation, we'd need to examine the contents of that August 11th press release. Alright, that's our quick decode of this 8K filing. What do you think about companies using press releases to announce their financial results? Does it make them more or less transparent? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us out, and don't forget to subscribe for more regular corporate deep dives. And remember, our Discord community is where the real conversation happens, so join us there using the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next decode